We are now going to move on to Wendy. Wendy Caverly is a strategic connection coach. She's waving at everybody and she's soon going to be on the stage. She has expertise in intentional connecting, helping sales teams develop meaningful relationships for success beyond their transactions. So beyond the deal, what happens then? How do you actually max out on that? And I know it's going to be human-centered because all of our speakers today have shown that people are first. She is the founder of Crusaders Networking and she's the chief referral officer for, and you're going to have to correct me on the pronunciation of this one. Is it Serasnet?
Oh my goodness, that's closer than most people. He's a Greek god, so it's Greek. Cirrus.
Oh, Serasnet
Yes.
connection. There we go. Not
Yes.
too bad for an Aussie. And it's had lots of experience in relationship management, consulting, sales, things of that nature. She offers assessment tools so that people can actually find out what their superpower is, which I absolutely love. All about then being able to help basically sales teams and individuals make the most of their businesses and leveraging their superpowers in those areas. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Wendy. I'm looking forward to what you have brought to share with us today, and I'll just let this next person in the room.
Well, I'm actually really excited that I'm following who I'm following, and she has a very similar view of organicness. I find this is an odd thing to say, but one of my greatest rival companies is the digital marketing company, where it's flashy and it feels like you're doing something and it costs a lot of money. So the investment return is going to be just as great. And yet, if when you connect with somebody, you don't know how to connect with somebody, all of that money was a waste. All of that time was a waste. And so many people have confused busy for productive. And that is very much what I am about. I'm about strategically and intentionally connecting with those who are going to help you create that solid foundation for success. And for those who have or will take a chance to check out my website or my LinkedIn, you're going to see that I actually hate the word networking. Yet so many people, even my own clients, often refer to me as their networking coach. The reason why is the word networking, that's an activity. It's a verb. It's something that you do, where the goal I want for you is connection and the value that comes from a sincere connection that is mutually beneficial for both. So let's take a little quick step back. And I talk a lot about the strategic view, but the strategic view is intended to empower you to recognize the person in front of you has the ability to play multiple roles in your future success. Where most professionals fail, especially younger professionals, is I am looking for a client. The person in front of me, I want to be a client. They're not interested in being a client. Fine, whatever, I'm done. And they move on. But that person could be, if they're not a client, take that pause and think to yourself, are they a resource? Are they a referral partner? Are they a mentor? Are they a collaboration partner? Are they a lesson learned? Who you don't want to be, what you don't want to do. So as professionals, there are 4 objectives that we all need to consistently accomplish for that long-term solid success. We need to establish and maintain relationships. We need to spot and leverage new opportunities. We need to attract mentors and collaboration partners so we can grow into larger rooms. And we need a measurable action plan so we are productive, not busy. And so we remind ourselves to celebrate our successes along the way. And those 4 things I call the landscapes. I translate each landscape and the skills that they are based on nature references, farming, foraging, fishing, hunting. Why? Because no matter who you are in the world, you have a concept of farming. And farming takes time, takes care, takes an investment, but you reap a harvest at the end. That's your relationship building and maintenance. You're foraging, you're looking around, seeing what's here. You're excited. You saw a bird, you found mushrooms. That's your random networking events. That's your chambers of commerce. That's your meetups. That's events like this, where you are just as excited to meet a new person who might provide you with new knowledge, new information, or a new client base as if if they were actually going to be a customer. The fishing is something that people often think of, but I view it as you're the bait. Do you know where to put yourself to catch the big fish? Do you know where to put yourself to get in front of those people that you can't traditionally get in front of because their businesses have grown? They're not sitting at the expo tables. They're not the one knocking on the door trying to sell you a new roof. They have people who do that, but they're the decision makers that you need to be in front of. And then that measurable action plan. I'm from Michigan. Deer hunting is really big in the state of Michigan. We have a whole season based around it. But deer hunters don't wander the woods, Elmer Fudd style, with a gun, looking for rabbits or looking for ducks. They create a blind, they bait the area, and then they patiently wait for what they want to come to them. That's that measurable action plan I talk about. You do not have to be constantly on the move and constantly busy to be productive. Matter of fact, every single thing currently on your calendar today, you have the opportunity to add that layer of connection for the long-term value. So at the end of your career, when you're accepting your Human of the Year award, you know who to thank. You know who helped you get there, because nobody travels the path to success alone. Maybe we all have different goals and different destinations, but we always find those great professionals who are going to help us accomplish those goals, be those resources we need, be that support, be that encouragement. That's why I use the word crusaders, because a crusader is someone who has faith. If they commit to the journey, they will accomplish their goals regardless of the obstacles in their way. That's my passion. That's my expertise. And that's what I encourage other people to do, is to remember that they have the power to choose those people that they are going to be surrounded by. As entrepreneurs, small business owners, professionals, we're not assigned coworkers anymore. We get to choose those people that become those resources in that personal boardroom. And somebody else also mentioned the economy. There's a lot of mixed reviews about it's great, it's not good, people are getting laid off, we can't find enough people to work. So what I suggest, or what I've been recommending to my network, is to do two things that you can do that will set you up for whatever the future might hold. And you should be doing anyways. You shouldn't wait until there's a crisis. You want that fire extinguisher before the kitchen's ablaze, not now I have to go to the store and buy one. So I am encouraging people to acquire skills. How can you make yourself better? What do you know that other people know? What do your clients need? And nurture your network, because that is the one thing that is going to always be there to catch you. And that's what I wanted to do for my introduction, because I'm a big fan of the Q&A. This is not a one and done topic. It's not a topic where this is what I do, so you should become me. No, this is about finding your style to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself and making your success yours, not a copy of someone else's. So I actually really enjoy hearing what people want to know, instead of me making the assumption of what you should hear or what I think you should hear. I would love to hear about, when it comes to finding those connections or those people that you're looking for, what frustrations might you be experiencing that just a tiny tweak or a new idea might make all the difference in the world?
All right, everyone.
Yes.
Who's got a question? Who's got a question?
I know Annie has some, because I did the little thing, but I thought I'd open it to the room. Yeah.
Open it up to the room. Come on, Pete.
Yes.
Ask a question. Ask a question.
One of the beautiful things I often have people ask me about, being an introvert. How do I handle being an introvert at random networking events? And the honest answer is, introverts are the most powerful connectors in the world, because, as Annie mentioned, they have superpowers. Their superpower is they want to listen and they want to help. And once they realize that, they can walk into any situation, a room full of people they already know, or a room full of complete strangers. And if they have walked in with an action plan, what they are hoping to accomplish at that event, and FYI, most events like this, they're not sales calls. You're going to set yourself apart, just not by coming in hot and heavy with a sales pitch. You are simply there to make what I like to refer to as the warm fuzzy. You want to leave them with a warm, fuzzy impression of you. So when you reach out to them after that event, they're going to say yes to that next conversation, because connecting without expectation is where opportunities are found. So my introverts are actually empowered to know that their goal is not that event. It's what happens after the event. So all of the pressure is off them. All they have to do is ask questions, listen, leave them with a warm fuzzy. And people love talking about themselves, so they are suddenly in control. Now, on the other half of that, my extroverts also have to operate in those events. And what we work on with them is, now remember, the goal is the next conversation. This is not the last time you want to speak to them. This is just the first time. So you don't have to tell them everything. Your expertise, your knowledge, your service is not a bucket of paint to dump over their head and hope the right stuff sticks, even though most of it's going to be on the ground. It's layers. The first contact is just the first layer. And when you lay it in nice layers, they are more likely to feel appreciative of you, be great contacts for you, and tell you what they need. That's something that I had an experience with right before this. Is so many people, we're so good at what we do, and we love it so much that we forget that the people who are coming to us are not experts in what we do. So even though we already know what they need, we already know the next steps, we actually do better when we ask questions, hold conversations, and let them figure it out for themselves. Annie is the person I need to talk to. She's going to make sure that she listened to me. People like to be seen. So much of connecting is just listening. And that's, again, one of the reasons the superpower is I am an introvert, which means I'm massive. And another thing too is I realize we have bills to pay, but this is about the long-term success. And I do recognize the struggle. Believe me, I have been doing a meeting facilitation, Serious Net Connections. I am a meeting facilitator for business referral groups. I have done that for 9 years. But during 2020, it became obvious very quickly that most people do not pay attention to their network, to who they're surrounded by when things are easy. You know, they just move on to the next person. They just move on to the next opportunity. I don't know how many people here got those emails that were like, we hope you're well in this trying time, and just know we're here for you. And you're like, I don't even know who this is, because you did business with them 3 years ago and you never heard from them again. Being connected is not time consuming when it's done lightly and consistently. And that's what gave birth to Crusaders, was the realization that people will focus on, I got to be a great salesperson. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sell up a storm. Or people know that I'm going to market the crap out of myself. I'm going to do, social media posts, and I'm going to do videos, and I'm going to host all those things like that. But when you say to somebody, but what's your networking plan? And they have no idea what you're talking about, it's lopsided. Think of that as a tricycle. You have 3 wheels, and the big wheel is whatever you're best at. If you're a massively good seller, that's the big wheel. If you're really great at marketing, that's the big wheel. Because on a tricycle, the big wheel is actually what you push, what you spin. You are still making forward progress, but it is nowhere near as fast and as smooth when you get the 2 back wheels spinning too. If you are a massively great networker, but you still need to know how to sell, work on that. What's the point of being a really great salesperson if you can't get anybody into the table because you came in hot and heavy? Work on that. How do you keep a client? Well, you become a center of influence for them. They have a need, you have the answer. That answer is not another customer, it's a referral partner. it's a resource. So traveling back to the beginning, every single person you connect with has the opportunity to play an important role in your future success. And when you connect with them without an expectation of what that role will be, you will discover that they are a doorway to new opportunities, new connections, new resources. If they're not your customer, maybe they know them. Will they provide you with a warm introduction? If they don't work in your industry, do they have the same target market as you? Do you guys share customers? That's a collaboration partner. You get to highlight yourself to a whole new room of people just by standing beside them. Are they somebody who is headed where you want to go? You can learn from them intentionally or unintentionally. They don't have to be a coach or a mentor you're paying. They can inspire you. We are all inspired by people that we see. That doesn't mean that they even know it, but they're there. This is a mentor for you. And make sure that you keep that thought in mind. Is this activity busy or is it productive? Is it moving me forward? Is it giving me an element I need for the future? Or is it just making me feel like I'm getting something done? And yet we know so many people. I've been there myself. I mean, I have 25 plus years of entrepreneurial experience. I promise you, I have failed so many times. I'm actually almost embarrassed to talk about them, but they're actually really great stories. So we should talk in the future about how, oops, how I did that. But people will busy themselves out of business. I don't understand. How did I not make any sales this month? I went to 47 different events. I had 47 different conversations. I was gone all day long. Or I went bankrupt because busy is not productive. And productive is what moves you forward. You can take what most people view as a 5 to 10 year process and make it a 3 to 5 year process by intentional and strategic out of the gate. I'm going to stop talking. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. It's my passion. I love this.
I love it. I'm feeling your passion. I love your presenting style. Super cool. Super cool. Thank you so much. I love it.
My
I was
pleasure.
just glad you finished then with the intentional, because I'm going, you know what the word is? Intentional. It's an intentional action. I remember quite a few people, because I'm always doing a million things. They go and say, Annie, you're so busy. And I'm like, oh, I don't do busy. And they're like going, but you're very busy. I go, no, it's just intentional action. Like if it's in my calendar and I'm doing it, then I've intended to do it. It's a choice, it's for a reason. And I think what I picked up there is too, I think a lot of people don't have that measurable action plan. They don't actually have their success measures, I'll call it, like, well, how do you know if you're achieving? How do you know if you're on track? How do you know if that was valuable to you? I think that was a really key point for me too. I think a lot of people, when you think that short-term perspective, they think of the fishing phase. I love your farming, foraging, fishing, because, some of them can be time consuming or weighed up, but when you're desperate, you go straight for fishing. I want to jag. Whereas a lot of what you were sharing there, Wendy, was actually going, it's the long term. If you just keep showing up, if every time I go to a business networking event or this or that, Annie's just being Annie, she's consistent, she's this, that, whatever, then they may not be a client, or they might not be a client now, but they might be in 5 years. But I tell you what, they're going to be your biggest referrers, because when you keep showing up, don't you find that they'll then suddenly go, their friend will need someone, and they'll go, oh my gosh, you need to speak to Deb, or you need to speak to Annie, or you need to speak to Wendy. She's that person, right? So but that requires that, long-term plan of just being consistent.
And I do have a caution to that. Actually, there is a caution to that. When you show up all the time, if you go in with that intent, that goal, you will avoid the trap of making friends when you were looking for customers, because a customer will become a friend way, way faster than a friend will become a customer. So once again, that intent when you go will help temper that, because I don't want anybody in 6 months finding out this person said, oh my God, thank you so much for all of the information you gave me. I've hired your competition. So, and it's happened to me.
Happened to me too.
Yes. Be consistent, show up, but you're not there for friends. Friends come. You're there to grow your business.
Brilliant point. Brilliant point. Do we have any other questions coming through? Deb's loving what you're sharing. Marie's saying, this is amazing, Wendy. Absolutely. It sure is. Any specific questions? Oh, I've just got Nikki Green just joining us again. Oh my goodness. I think, do you have a percentage breakdown on when your four things? So you're farming, foraging, fishing,
Oh,
like, how do you constantly just get every day and go, I'm just reassessing that, what the weighting of that is? Is it sort of like an organic feel for you, or do you actually have a bit of a formula?
so I actually do have an assessment that measures people's natural instincts to lean into those environments. Some people are really great caregivers, so they have strong farmers, or there's some people who they're always looking for the bigger opportunities, so they're strong fishers. And oftentimes it's really not about okay, I'm 10 of this and 20 of that. It's recognizing how you're going to operate to accomplish that goal. And I do often, for myself at this point, my assessment's actually up on the wall. I look at it all the time because I was surprised by my own results. Is okay, what is the point of this activity? Am I trying to find something new? Then I'm foraging. Am I touching base with people I already know? Then I'm farming. Am I trying to find my way into a bigger room? This is a fishing activity for me. It's an opportunity for me to get in front of people I'm not going to organically cross paths with, because we don't live in the same state, same country, same continent. So it's really about giving you that power to make that action plan on, okay, what do I need for my business? I need more contacts. I'm going to do this with this intention. I had a coaching client just this week. He was telling me how busy he is. He's so busy. He's busy. He's busy. And I said, no, let's take a step back. You're only doing three things. You are looking for a new broker dealer to align yourself with. That's growing your business. You're onboarding a new administrator. That's a farming practice. You're building a relationship with them so they can make you shine like a rock star. And you're looking for new clients. That's foraging. So some of that busyness is in here. Then you take that step back and nope, all of that busyness is still only for three things. So it gives you power. It gives you confidence. It gives you some comfort in you are making progress towards that future. Even if you are doing a lot of stuff, you're still doing it with intent and with a long-term permanent result in mind. This is not, who likes a roller coaster? It's exhausting.
So exhausting.
So life is a roller coaster anyways, but if it's always trending up, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So yes, I do actually have an assessment that helps people figure that out. And believe it or not, 25, 25, 25, 25 is pretty much the worst you could get, because it means you can go in any direction. That doesn't help you know which way to go. You're still at that crossroads going, I don't know. Let's help you get comfortable, confident, and moving forward.
I think too, when you have that awareness of why you're doing each phase, it's just that clarity of the purpose. It's like, okay, I'm here for this reason, and therefore I'm doing it intentionally. I can then measure that, the time I put in, the amount of contacts, the return, the touch points I've had with that person. It all then makes more sense. I love what you said about business or friends. This is true. It's actually hard to convert your friends to business.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
It's kind of like, they never see you as amazing. But that's a whole other point. But yeah, I think that's it's really great, valuable information what you've shared there. That once you start identifying these sorts of areas, and I love just different names for things, and it's about finding words that just help you relate to the different phases that we all go about in business, right? It's, and there'll be many other aspects of that too. And so for some people, it's kind of like, that makes sense. And others, it doesn't. It doesn't matter what we call it. It just means that there are components of our businesses that are all important that we just choose to put into our practice. So I'm going to get you to finish up then, Wendy. What has been your biggest learning about clients? You've been doing this a very long time. You're running things, you're a real pro. What have been your biggest learnings about clients who struggle with the intentional action? They can do, that's right, be so busy doing three things because they get lost in the busyness, right? What have been your biggest learnings that you go, what, for those of you who are now starting up or a bit stuck in that busyness, what can you share that would help them?
as you go on this journey of building your network, you will discover over time that your network will be more of your business, and the busy chamber, associations, digital marketing will be less, which is exactly how it should be. And most people, they default with the I feel like I'm doing stuff, as opposed to I'm planning for the future. So if you want 5 years to only be 3, give yourself grace and give yourself time to focus even just a little bit on connecting with others without an expectation of the value they will bring you. If you measure how you are helping others, you don't have to measure what you're getting, because it's gonna come back. And you can be 2 years ahead of somebody else starting right now by starting right now. They're going to be in business for 2 years before they realize they should have been doing it the whole time. You're out of the gate. You are out of the gate with it, head and shoulders above them. And doing it right, your network is going to fill your pipeline without you having to do it. Your name will be mentioned in rooms full of strangers. Your name will be the one that's referred automatically. You won't have to do cold calling and door knocking over time, or it will be a small part. So invest in yourself, invest in your network, invest in that long-term success that is only found by being connected. Because what is that old saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, so true.
Start getting to know the who out of the gate.
And get to know the right who, right? So don't
The right
just put up
who's.
in any wall, any room. It's like Deb was saying, where are your peeps? Where
You
where
have the
they
power
are.
to choose. Yes.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
have the
Don't just
power
go,
to choose.
I'm going to turn up this thing. If none of them are your likely customer in the future, like, you're just wasting your time. Where are your potential clients? And then with them, build those relationships, be intentional about them, keep showing up consistently, and it will definitely fill your top of funnel. And that's what we all need to be doing, right? We need to have those people that just keep dropping in. It is so much easier. It's the rest, it's so exhausting just when you're,
It is.
that pressure to go out and go, I've got to do a sale at this moment, at this deal. It's just exhausting. And I tell you what, you can tell it in people. You can just see they look more uptight, they're stressful, they're pushy, whereas other people are just owning their space time and time again. And you just go, oh, they'd be a pleasure to do business with, which is a whole other aspect of if you actually, secure that client. Go, you want it to be a really positive, fun experience, right? You just don't want it to be exhausting and stressful. So, oh my goodness, Wendy, thank you so much. You've got some beautiful comments. Marie's loved that one, and she is up next as our next speaker. So thank you so much. That was just, really, really great. I look forward to people connecting with you. You'll have details. Go to wendycaverly.com. You will be able to find her. You'll also find her on LinkedIn and definitely through some of our other channels as well. So reach out to Wendy. You're a great communicator. Really, really blessed by that presentation, given me a lot to think about. All right. We are now going to move on to our